Before starting today's session, let me say you one thing. Tax is not a tough subject. There is no such subject that you can tag as the toughest or the easiest one. Everything is relative. If the basics of a subject is understood, then you can grasp the subject easily. So, my dear students, just stay calm and relaxed. Today, we are going to discuss about residential status of individuals. Section 6 of the Income Tax Act deals with residential status. First of all, you have to understand the meaning of residential status. Residential status is a term that has nothing to do with nationality or domicile of a person. Residency means that a foreign country has allowed you to live and work in that country, usually indefinitely. However, children born to you while you are resident in that country are usually citizen by birth. Citizenship, on the other hand, is the most complete legal relationship between a person and a country. For example, an Indian who is a citizen of India can be non-resident for income tax purpose, whereas a citizen of some other country can be resident of India for income tax purpose. An individual is taxed in India based on his or her residential status, which means the number of days of stay in the relevant financial year. Section 6 of the Income Tax Act classifies residential status into three categories: resident and ordinarily resident, resident but not ordinarily resident, and non-resident. Now, let us learn how to identify the residential status. Section 6 of the Income Tax Act guides us on how to calculate residential status. Have a look at the following conditions. Conditions can be divided into basic condition and additional condition. First, basic condition. Basic condition number 1: has stayed in India for a period of 182 days or more in the previous year. Means assessee should stay in India for a minimum period of 182 days or more in the previous year. In our case, our assessment year is 2020-21. So, assessee should stay in India for a minimum period of 182 days in the previous year, that is 2019-20. Second basic condition is has stayed in India for 60 days or more in the previous year. In our case, assessee should stay in India for a minimum period of 60 days in 2019-20. And here you have to remember the word and. 365 days or more in the 4 previous years immediately preceding the previous year. That means the 4 previous years immediately preceding the previous years are 2018-19, 2017-18, 2016-17, 2015-16. So these are the basic condition. Basic condition number 1: assessee should stay in India for a minimum period of 182 days or more in the previous year. Second condition: he should stay in India for a minimum period of 60 days or more in the previous year and 365 days or more in 4 previous years immediately preceding the previous year. Another thing, 60 days will be extended to 182 days in one situation, that is, for citizen or person of Indian origin who leave India for seeking employment opportunities outside India, or those who come to India for a vacation or temporarily, 60 days, which we mentioned in the second basic condition, will be substituted with 182 days. Okay, second basic condition stated that he has stayed in India for a period of 60 days or more in the previous year and 365 days or more in the 4 previous years preceding the previous year. In that second basic condition, 60 days will be substituted with 182 days. Now, additional condition. Additional condition number 1, has been a resident of India in at least 2 out of 10 years immediately preceding the previous year. That means assessee should be a resident of India for at least 2 out of 10 years immediately preceding the previous year. He should be a resident. Second condition, has stayed in India for at least 730 days in 7 immediately preceding years. Assessee should stay in India for a minimum period of 730 days in 7 preceding previous years. Now let us check who is ordinarily resident. We have already discussed what are the basic conditions and what are additional conditions. Now let us see who is ordinarily resident. If he satisfies any of the basic conditions, if an assessee satisfies any one of the basic conditions and both the additional conditions, if an assessee satisfies any one of the following basic condition and if he satisfies both the additional conditions, we can categorize that resident as ordinarily resident. We can categorize that assessee as ordinarily resident. Next one, not ordinarily resident. If he satisfies any of the following basic conditions or satisfying basic conditions and any one of the additional condition. In the case of ordinarily resident, we stated that he should satisfy any one of the basic condition and he should satisfy both the additional condition. Now we are saying that in not ordinarily resident's case, he should satisfy any one of the basic condition or satisfying basic conditions and any one of the additional condition. We can categorize that assessee as not ordinarily resident. Third case is non-resident. If he satisfies none of the basic condition, if an assessee doesn't satisfy any of the basic condition, we can categorize that assessee as non-resident. Now I have to add one more thing to you, that is, in order to protect the individual who wanted to maintain their status as a non-resident or not ordinarily resident and intended to leave India in order to do so, but were not able to leave India due to lockdown imposed by Government of India in order to curb the spread of coronavirus pandemic, CBDT has come out with this circular number 11 of 2020. CBDT issues circular number 11 of 2020 and excluded period of forced stay in India from 22nd March 2020 to 31st March 2020 in computation of residential status in India for the financial year 2019-20. That means assessee stays in India from 22nd March 2020 to 31st March 2020 in this particular case shall not be taken into account for the purpose of this section. This will be more clear when we explain this through an example that we'll be discussing in next class. Thank you.